It all started when Stevie J quietly motioned for the director to pause the reunion special. The studio went silent, cameras fixed on him as he tapped a hidden clip on his phone. Suddenly, Scrappy's own voice echoed through the speakers, admitting he had scripted feuds and sold intimate cast secrets to tabloids for his own gain. Fans are shocked as emotions ran high. Yandy's eyes filled with tears, Joseline's jaw dropped, and even the crew froze in disbelief. Whispers of betrayal and manipulation spread instantly. Scrappy had been pulling the strings behind every argument, every whisper, every explosive moment on the show. 6 seasons of drama had convinced viewers that what they saw was raw and real, but in an instant, that illusion shattered. The family was left divided. Some rushed to defend Scrappy's right to spin a storyline, while others accused him of betraying everyone's trust. Production assistants scrambled to cut the feed, but the damage was done. Now every fan is asking, what other secrets was Scrappy hiding, and can his reputation ever recover from this ruthless exposure? Buckle up. This is reality television's most devastating plot twist yet. The reunion set crackled with tension as a hush fell over the cast and crew. Yandy Smith adjusted her earpiece, sensing that something monumental was about to unfold. Joseline Hernandez sat poised under the harsh studio lights, scrolling through her phone with a look of anxious anticipation. Even the usually confident Mimi Faust seemed uneasy, her foot tapping against the stage floor in a rhythmic staccato. Scrappy Dread lingered in the shadows, earbuds still in, trying to calm the storm of emotions raging inside him. He'd sat through countless confrontations, explosive arguments, and staged fight scenes. But nothing had prepared him for what Stevie J was about to reveal. The crew exchanged furtive glances. This was no carefully scripted twist, but raw, unpredictable reality. As the host called for a brief intermission between segments, Stevie J slipped into the control room with a knowing grin. Producers paused. The feed, technicians lowered their monitors, and the entire environment seemed suspended in time. Then Stevie tapped his phone against the armrest and said softly, "Roll it." The monitors flickered to life, displaying grainy footage that immediately silenced the studio audience. In the clip, Scrappy's unmistakable voice echoed through the speakers. "You think reality TV is real? Honey, I'm the puppeteer." The camera cut to Scrappy himself, leaning conspiratorially over a producer's shoulder. "I orchestrated half the drama you watched," he continued, voice rich with smug delight. "I tipped off tabloids about Joseline's love life. I fed them Yandy's darkest struggles. And I sold secrets like they were hot tickets." Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided. Joseline's painted smile vanished as she saw her own face on screen. "He did not say that," she mouthed, eyes wide with incredulity. Yandy's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp. Mimi flinched, as if struck. Even Scrappy, watching his own words back in humiliating clarity, seemed to shrink before the audience. The host, recovering from the initial shock, stepped forward. His measured voice barely concealed his astonishment. "Scrappy, is that your voice?" he asked, gesturing toward the screen. Scrappy rose from his seat, earbuds dangling, and leaned forward. I don't know what to say," he stammered, voice quavering. Joseline strode onto the stage, her heels echoing in the sudden silence. She stopped before Scrappy, eyes burning with betrayal. "You think this is a game?" she demanded. "You used our lives for ratings?" Her voice carried through the studio, leaving stunned stillness in its wake. Scrappy swallowed visibly, looking from Joseline to Yandy to Mimi. "I thought I was protecting our storyline," he explained weakly. "I thought I needed to stay relevant." His usual bravado was gone, replaced by a vulnerability that felt almost raw. But his admission only seemed to worsen the wound. "Protecting our storyline?" Joseline echoed, arms crossed. "You exploited our private pain to pad your ego," the audience murmured in agreement. Joseline continued, voice trembling with emotion. "We trusted you. We shared our truths, our traumas, and you sold them like currency." She turned away, unable to look him in the eye. Yandy rose from her chair and approached Scrappy, compassion flickering in her gaze despite her shock. She touched his arm gently. "We're family," she said softly, voice thick. But family doesn't use each other. Her words cut through the haze, reminding Scrappy, and everyone watching, of the bond they'd once shared. Scrappy's shoulders slumped, tears glinting in his eyes. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I never meant to hurt you." The cameras captured his anguish, the audience leaning in as if compelled by the gravity of his remorse. But apologies offered in the glare of studio lights often feel rehearsed, and trust once broken cannot be easily mended. The host interjected to keep the flow. "We hear your apology, Scrappy, but actions speak louder than words. What will you do to restore trust?" Scrappy took a deep breath, searching for sincerity in his own pounding heart. "I'll come clean on every secret I sold," he vowed. "I'll reveal who I talked to, what I leaked, and why I did it. I'll face the consequences." His declaration hung in the air, a promise to expose himself to judgment. Producers cut to a pre-recorded segment showing Stevie J negotiating a hush agreement with a tabloid editor. The footage showed hi-fi coffee cups and slick suits. Stevie passed an envelope across a mahogany table, the editor's hand dipping inside to retrieve its contents. The caption read, "Behind the scenes, how Scrappy's secrets were sold." Viewers saw Stevie hissing, "We need exclusivity." The editor nodded, sealing the deal. The clip underscored the depth of Scrappy's betrayal and Stevie's role in bringing it to light. Back on the main stage, the host turned to Stevie. "Why expose your friend like this?" he asked, eyebrows raised. Stevie's jaw tightened. "Because the truth matters," he replied. Scrappy's manipulations hurt everyone. Fans, cast, family. They deserve to know. His tone was steady, but a flicker of guilt passed across his face. He'd traded loyalty for revelation, a gamble with real human costs. As the reunion pressed on, Scrappy was led backstage for a private sit-down with Yandy and Jocelyn. The cameras remained rolling, capturing their teary embrace and whispered exchanges, though the microphones were muted to preserve some intimacy. Jocelyn laid her head against Scrappy's chest, tears soaking his shirt. Yandy held his hand, her eyes pleading for him to follow through on his promises. In the wings, Mimi and Mendices watched closely. Mimi shook her head in disbelief while Mendices offered a quiet word of encouragement to Stevie. "You did what needed doing," he said softly. Stevie shrugged, gaze distant. "I hope he sees it that way," he murmured. Back on the set, the host guided the audience through the next series of discussions. The fallout in Scrappy's business deals, the reaction of sponsors, and the emotional toll on fans who had invested in his on-screen persona. Reaction videos were already trending online, fans dissecting every facial expression, every quivering lip. The hashtag #ScrappyExposed soared, while #Stevie delivers trended in defiance. The segment concluded with a montage of Scrappy's tearful apologies, Jocelyn's fierce denunciations, Yandy's tortured empathy, and Mimi's wary solidarity. The visuals underscored the fractured nature of their relationships, yet hinted at a possible path toward reconciliation, if Scrappy could prove his change was more than a performance. As Part 1 drew to a close, the host invited viewers to tune in for Part 2, promising deeper exploration of the secrets Scrappy leaked and the real identities of the tabloids he fed. Alliances had shifted, trust had shattered, and a gulf of uncertainty yawned before them. The question on everyone's mind was clear. Could Scrappy rebuild his reputation, or was his fall from grace permanent? The cameras faded out, leaving only the echo of Scrappy's confession reverberating in the minds of all who watched. The cameras cut back to the reunion stage with an electric tension in the air. Scrappy dread, still reeling from the explosive. Confession Stevie J had unveiled now faced the aftermath. The host, voice steady but eyes somber, ushered him into a spotlight. "Scrappy," he began. "We just heard you admit to manipulating everyone's personal drama for ratings. Now, it's time to dive deeper into exactly what you did and why." The audience leaned forward in collective anticipation, eager to see how far Scrappy's betrayals ran. Scrappy paused, swallowing hard before speaking. "I owe you all the full truth," he said quietly. "Not just that I tipped tabloids, but which moments were my doing." He motioned to a production assistant, who cued a monitor behind him. The screen flickered to life with footage from a behind-the-scenes camera, Scrappy in a darkened hallway whispering into his phone. "You want exclusives?" he said. "Tell them it was Mimi's secret recovery visit. That'll get clicks." In the next clip, he leaned close to a crew member. "I need those reading room tapes. Feed me everything about Yandy's finances." Fans gasped as intimate details were revealed, each confession chipping away at Scrappy's on-screen persona. Joseline's face contorted in pain as she watched. She stormed onto the stage, voice cracking. "You spilled my darkest shame for fun?" she demanded. "You weaponized my life." Scrappy flinched under her glare. "I thought it would keep me relevant," he admitted, voice cracking. "I lost sight of respect." Joseline's tears fell as she snapped, "I lost my dignity." She turned and fled, the audience hushed by her raw grief. Yandy stepped forward, pale but determined. She addressed Scrappy, tone firm. "You preyed on my vulnerabilities," she said. "You told tabloids about my postpartum struggles, my therapy sessions, to make me look weak." Her voice wavered, anger and heartbreak mingling. "You gave them the worst parts of my life without consent." Scrappy's shoulders slumped. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I never meant to hurt you like that." Yandy's eyes narrowed. "Words aren't enough," she replied. "Show me the steps you'll take to make amends." Her challenge set the stage for the next big reveal. The host nodded and turned to the screen once more. Scrappy said he would come clean about every secret he leaked. Let's explore what that means. A rapid-fire montage played. Text messages detailing Scrappy's late-night calls to bloggers, receipts for payments to rumor sites, audio clips of private conversations he passed along. Behind each revelation, the host's narration underscored the betrayal. He exploited trust, violated privacy, and turned our pain into headlines. Emotions ran high as cast reactions flickered. Shock, anger, tears, each a testament to Scrappy's far-reaching deception. After the montage, Scrappy was led backstage for a private truth session, filmed for inclusion in future episodes. Cameras caught Joseline reading a transcript of one of his calls. "I can make them cry on cue," he said. She crumpled the paper in her fist. Yandy, standing beside her, trembled as she held a stack of bank statements Scrappy had leaked. Charges from her joint account she'd never authorized. The footage felt invasive. A brutal reminder that reality TV's lens could cut deeper than any scripted drama. The reunion resumed with Scrappy facing the host's questions about restitution. "What will you do to repair these lives you used?" the host asked. Scrappy took a deep breath. "I will personally apologize to everyone I betrayed," he began. "I'll host a public forum where I answer questions live, no edits. I'll set up a fund to compensate those whose private info I sold, and I'll step away from producing content on others' lives." His vow was met with mixed reactions. Some viewers whispered hopeful support, while others scoffed at the idea that money and apologies could heal such deep wounds. Stevie J then offered his own perspective. Stepping into the light, he addressed Scrappy directly. "I exposed you because I believed in accountability, but I also know you can change. I'll co-host that public forum with you, and I'll donate my appearance fee to your restitution fund." The gesture surprised many, revealing that even the instigator of scandal could become an ally in rebuilding trust. In a dramatic twist, the network announced a special initiative, the Reality Redemption Challenge. They would follow Scrappy for a month, documenting his efforts to make amends, from volunteer work to public apologies. Viewers could vote weekly on whether Scrappy had earned forgiveness or remained unworthy. The interactive element promised high engagement but also risked turning Scrappy's redemption into another rating stunt. Backstage, cast and crew discussed the announcement. One producer shrugged. "At least it's transparent." A makeup artist muttered, "We're filming real healing, not just fake tears." Jocelyn, overhearing, shook her head. "I'm not sure I want to be part of their redemption arc," she confided to Mimi. "This feels too staged." Mimi placed a hand on Jocelyn's shoulder. "We'll see how real this gets," she replied, cautious but open to the possibility of genuine change. Amid the chaos, Scrappy found a quiet moment with Yandy. They sat in a darkened corridor, away from lights and cameras. He reached for her hand. "I know I broke you," he said, "but I'll spend my life fixing it." Yandy studied him, tears in her eyes. "Actions over words," she whispered. "If I see honesty, I'll stay. If not, I'm done." The moment underscored that redemption required more than confessions under studio lights. It demanded daily proof of integrity. That evening, Stevie J and Scrappy filmed a teaser for the upcoming Redemption Challenge. They stood before a local community center, announcing Scrappy's first project, restoring a vandalized youth mural Scrappy had commissioned years ago. Scrappy dipped a brush into fresh paint as kids cheered, and a tear ran down his cheek. Stevie placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, camera capturing the candid emotion. "Let's build something honorable," Stevie said. The clip ended, with Scrappy's hopeful smile, a stark contrast to the manipulative figure revealed earlier. As part 2 drew to a close, the host stepped forward for one final word. Scrappy's story is far from over. Can he transform betrayal into genuine redemption? Will the family forgive? And will viewers believe in second chances? Tune in next week to witness the verdict. The lights dimmed, leaving the cast under flickering stage lamps, the weight of Scrappy's sins and the promise of his redemption hanging in the balance. The reunion special had shifted from spectacle to something raw and real, an exploration of trust, betrayal, and the arduous path toward forgiveness. Alliances remained fragile, reputations teetered, and every step from here on would be scrutinized. For Scrappy, the road ahead was both daunting and necessary, to prove that even the most sensational manipulator could earn back the respect and love he had squandered. The morning after Scrappy's unfiltered video hit social media, the air on set felt charged with anticipation. Crew members whispered about the split reactions online, some praising his vulnerability, others mocking his rehearsed apologies. Scrappy arrived first, stepping onto the lot with shoulders squared and eyes determined to prove that his redemption journey wasn't a fleeting stunt. Yandy greeted him with a supportive hug, bracing him for whatever the day would bring. "Just be yourself," she whispered. Jocelyn watched from a distance, arms folded, her expression inscrutable. Mimi lingered nearby, hovering between skepticism and sympathy. Producers assembled in the VIP lounge to storyboard the next segment of the reunion special, the redemption trial. The plan was to film Scrappy as he carried out 3 meaningful tasks for the community: hosting a grief support workshop, refurbishing a neighborhood playground, and speaking at a local high school about the consequences of betrayal. The events would be intercut with unscripted confessions filmed in a confessional booth, ensuring viewers saw both action and emotion. Legal and PR teams reviewed every frame to minimize risk of another damaging leak. Cameras were rigged, microphones tested, and a small live audience was prepped with headphones to catch off-camera audio. Scrappy's first assignment was at the grief support workshop he'd organized alongside Mimi Faust. the community center. Hall filled with folding chairs and a semicircle of participants clutching coffee cups. Scrappy stood before them, heart pounding. "I know betrayal can break trust," he began, voice wavering. "I've lived that pain." He invited participants to share their stories, listening intently, nodding, offering tissues. The cameras captured genuine compassion as Scrappy wiped tears alongside survivors, an empathy far removed from the manipulative persona he'd once embraced. Amid the workshop, Jocelyn and Yandy arrived unannounced, sitting together in the back row. Their presence underscored that Scrappy's redemption needed to earn their personal forgiveness, not just public goodwill. A woman described the pain of discovering infidelity. Scrappy responded with humility. "I betrayed my own family's trust for ratings." Jocelyn's eyes softened as she watched, Yandy's arm wrapped around her. The workshop concluded with Scrappy and Jocelyn embracing participants, a symbolic gesture of healing. Next on the schedule was the playground, refurbishing. A worn neighborhood park required fresh paint, new swings, and a vibrant mural. Scrappy, dressed in jeans and a paint-stained shirt, joined volunteers, rolling bright blue paint over rusted bars and tightening bolts on slide supports. Neighborhood kids darted in and out, offering Scrappy high fives. He paused to help an elderly man repaint a bench, exchanging small talk about summer plans. The confessional camera rolled nearby, catching Scrappy's honest smile. "This feels right," he said softly. "I'm building something, not tearing it down." Yandy snapped a photo for Scrappy's fundraiser page. As the playground segment wrapped, a new twist emerged. A rival blogger leaked a snippet of private footage showing Scrappy joking with crew about how good it felt to be on Team Hero, for once. The clip, though short, reignited skepticism about his motives. Fans online questioned whether Scrappy had staged his volunteer work for positive press. The rendition of charity as a showbiz move sent whispers racing across the lot. Stevie J, watching monitors, frowned. He approached Scrappy and urged him to prepare a candid response. "Just tell them the truth," Stevie advised. Scrappy nodded, determination flickering in his eyes. The third event was a school assembly at Lincoln High. Students filed into the auditorium as Scrappy, escorted by Yandy and Jocelyn, took the stage. The principal introduced him as guest speaker and community advocate. Scrappy adjusted the microphone and addressed the teenagers. "I stand before you as someone who made terrible choices. I manipulated people's lives to boost my own image." He paused, scanning the faces of curious seniors. "But I want to show you that mistakes don't define us. It's how we respond that matters." He shared insights on peer pressure, authenticity, and the importance of integrity, weaving anecdotes from his reality TV fall. A hush fell over the crowd as students absorbed his message. After the speech, Scrappy invited questions. A brave student asked, "How do you repair damage you caused to people you hurt most?" Scrappy thought for a moment. "By listening, apologizing, and making amends every day," he replied. "And by accepting that some wounds..." You've witnessed Scrappy's fall from grace, his raw confession, and the long road he's taken to earn back trust through grief workshops, playground rebuilds, transparent forums, and heartfelt apologies. You saw Jocelyn, Mimi, and Yandy wrestle with betrayal and choose to stand beside him as he laid bare his mistakes. You watched community members speak out. You voted on his redemption, and you held Scrappy accountable with every step he took. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Scrappy's transformation is genuine? Or is it another performance for the cameras? Can he sustain this commitment without the glare of studio lights? Or will old habits lure him back into manipulation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know which moment moved you most, which of Scrappy's actions felt truly sincere, and what you'd do if you were in his shoes. Are you on Team Forgiveness, ready to cheer his next community project? Or Team Accountability, watching closely for any slip? Share your verdict and join the conversation about trust, redemption, and second chances. If Scrappy's story inspired you, hit the like button to show your support for genuine change and community service. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss a single update on Scrappy's ongoing redemption challenge and all the behind-the-scenes drama that comes with it. Share this video with friends who followed this roller coaster journey and debate together whether true transformation is possible under the bright lights of reality TV. Thanks for watching. And remember, real change takes more than a one-time apology. It takes time, transparency, and relentless action. We'll be here to bring you every twist and turn in Scrappy's journey and yours. See you next time.